Big Bear AI stock popping in the after hours with their earnings and the announcement of a key acquisition in the defense sector. And then also we have NVTS putting out over 22% upside today. ONDS also showing us some pretty darn good excitement. I'll show you what's exciting there. And then also RZLV could be in that accumulation zone. We're going to give an update on all those. But first, we'll talk about the background market bias and where we find ourselves. So continued news of the government shutdown ending. I said today could be a good day for the markets, and well, so far they were. You can see the cues. Take a look at this. Off this push up that I got off the market open, came down, checked out for support passed, and then rocket ship back on up. We have not yet made it back up to these key resistance areas, which happen to be right around 625. The trailing through tomorrow, we'll call it 625 would be where we'd find that cap at any point in time. But up north, that 626 to 627. Sitting on top of that's going to be very important for us. When we go to the SPY, that one actually tickled the 680. I said 680 would be that place where we'd find initial resistance. And we absolutely did get a little bit of resistance there, but can't keep a good dog down. Popped up above that as well. For IWM, this one had a little bit more trouble for the small caps as we look at them. So for IWM, tickling just shy of that 245.34 is what I had. And the peak today was at 245.24. So within 10 cents of that resistance, just couldn't quite get over there. The good news is so far we're retesting and holding on to support, which is good for us. Could see that next launching point. Bitcoin, I believe, the thing to watch. I'll talk about that in just a moment here. NVIDIA also finding that support on Friday and then opening back up above the 5 and the 13, trying to push up above 200. Couldn't quite get there. So we have AI still firmly in its place. We have the indices up in their place. Let's go to Bitcoin. So BTC, USD, there we go. That's the one that we want. Perfect. And the thing that we're looking at here, pay attention to the moving averages. We found closing up above the 5-period EMA. This is the daily chart. You can see it in the back here. Closed up above it on Sunday, and then today opened up above the 5, getting rejected so far at the 13. The 13 is very important to get up above. If we're able to make it up above this 106 level that we have with this 13 period, which is just shy, it's actually 105.8. We want to be watching 108,000 of that. That's where the 200 EMA is. And look how flat across that thing is. That can act as very, very wicked resistance for us. At least initially, we want to watch for that. And we definitely don't want that 50 to cross down over. And then also we have, if we zoom out, this descending wedge pattern. We also have to watch just north of that where the 50 is, the 50 EMA, and then also that descending wedge pattern. We want to break out of the top of this thing and then head back off to the races, especially with this fresh momentum build that we're getting. Now, Bitcoin going back into bullish territory, back up above that 200 EMA, I think is going to speak a lot for the penny stocks here. And I'm going to segue into the penny stocks because BigBear.ai found support down here and in the after hours with their earnings. The revenue, not so great, but they maintained full year guidance. Now, maintaining, you might be like, they maintained guidance. They didn't increase it. Nope, they didn't increase it at all, which is good because what they have been doing is they've been cutting back on those revenues time after time after time. And that they also had some concentration risk with where their contracts, where their revenue came from, and they've been broadening back out. And then they also have a key strategic acquisition as well. I believe it's Ask Sage is the name of the company. I'm going to have to look into it and see where that goes. It's a $250 million deal that should bring in about $25 million in annual recurring revenue. So ARR would be the ticker, my goodness, too much stocks, would be the acronym that you're looking for there as well. And you can see so far that the market absolutely loves that. It is pushing us up in this resistance area. Tomorrow, we want to watch this thing go up north of 678 if we can. If not, we want to watch and see where it comes down, where it finds support. Now, mind you, this is probably going to be a little bit wild between now and then. It is nice to see that support hold out, but this could be a very exciting time for us for the markets. And if you look at the volumes, this after hours volume that we have right here, this candle, or below this candle, this volume that you see is almost matched with what we had. It actually exceeds nearly all of the volumes that we have, say for the last hour of trading leading up to their earnings. So this was very good volume here. Lots of excitement in this so far. This could push up higher on us. And I always want to watch for, since I'm not in for the first move, watching for that second move. So it's nice to see some positive movement for BigBear.ai in association with their earnings. Maybe this is that time that we can start to see if the background market is going to stay at its back, that we see continued bullishness from the markets. maybe finally we get that 2-digit price tag coming out of BigBear.ai. Moving over to NVTS, there we go. 22.45% today. Check out this area of support that we had, and I said that we found support there, and most likely this was going to be a very bullish day for us, and it was. The market opened. Let me drop down to a 30-minute chart so we can see where we opened at versus where we were during the regular trading hours. So we opened down here to about $8.40, and we closed in the mid-9s. So wonderful movement for NVTS, and then look how pristinely it went with this resistance area that's to the north. Let me change that color code. This thing dropped so fast, I didn't even keep up with calling things support or resistance. So far we're getting rejected right here. We have resistance also at 981. That's a pretty big one, and another one at 1024. Sitting on top at 1024 gives us free rise all the way up to 1229. We want to be watchful for that movement. If we're able to get it from NVTS, this could just be the start of that turnaround. And if we go out to the daily chart, you can see, especially look at this formation. There we go. This gap down followed by this long bottom wick that we have here down in support, and then gap back up the other way. That is a bullish thing, which could propel us forward. And we do have the 50 EMA just to the north. We got to watch those moving averages. That's that red moving average that you see along here. Probably going to be a little bit of resistance at first, but hopefully we're able to push through it and finally close up this gap the rest of the way up to about $12 per share. So it's possible that this isn't the end of the movement. And also with the volume starting to pick back up again, we could be seeing this accumulation zone that I talked about in my morning video, which we can see over here. That last time that we started to ramp up on volume was in this same price area. And then today, strong volume, kind of building up from what we saw before. Not quite as explosive as before, but some growing volumes for us. Maybe the RSI will also push up over 50. I think that this move could just be getting started. RZLV, check this thing out. So I have a few things marked on here that I want you to see. First of all, let me not draw extra stuff on there. There we go. You can see this trend line support that we almost came down and tagged. So that's perfect that we stayed north of that. And then this is also the weekly chart for RZLV that we're looking at. We also tagged this support pivots that we have over here. So this is historic pricing, which took us back to this high wick that we had on this weekly candle in the second half of July of this year. So far finding that support. And so being on top of these pivots, being on top of this trend line, we could see that turnaround happening sometime soon. The weekly RSI dropping just down below 50. So very close to bullish territory for us, but not quite there yet. If we go to the daily chart on this thing, you can see the descending wedge pattern that we have. And you can see it more clearly if I drop down to intraday charts. You'll see that as well. The volumes are just now starting to pick back up and roll the other way. So we could be hitting accumulation for RZLV as well, which means that that pop could be happening sometime in the near future. If we're going to get it, it is very critical that we push back up above the 200 EMA, which is this blue line right across here. We could not overtake the 5 right now, and that's a bit of trouble. Hopefully this support holds. If not, it means that this thing's not done falling yet. We absolutely need to be watchful for that. So let me zoom back out here into the hourly chart that we're looking at, and there's the descending wedge pattern. Looks a little bit cleaner here. You can see sometimes we popped up out of it. It's not the cleanest formation that we've ever had, but it gives you a pretty good idea of where we're at right now. And importantly, we do actually currently have somewhat of a higher low than what we had before. Unlike this whole descent that we see that's been going on for days here. It's been a while since we were able to do this. And those volumes starting to pick up for us, not just during that initial sell at the morning. There we go. But also some elevated volumes in between. That contention is definitely there. The fight is on between the bulls and the bears for RZLV stock. We want to watch and see who's going to be the winner. There's a good possibility that it's the bulls, but we don't have that direct evidence yet. Moving on to ONDS. This one, what I want to show you for this is that this is the whole floor ceiling game that we're playing, much like Bitcoin's been playing. So if I go to Bitcoin just for a moment and drop down to its hourly chart, I can show you a little bit of what I mean by that. So for Bitcoin, there we go. We made this movement upward. We found this ceiling over here at about 106.6. And if we look back to where that is, well, that happens to coincide with these previous lows that we have over here. As we look left from that, well, what happened when we got rejected at the ceiling? Well, it goes back down and it looks for where the floor is. And not only do we have the 200 EMA up for the hourly, but we also have this previous pivot that happens to be over here as well. So far finding that floor, the floor held, and then it's like, okay, well, where's the ceiling? Is the ceiling still up north? Well, right now, we didn't get there yet. As this thing develops, we need to break that 106 to say, okay, the floor is now higher than it was before. Now we need to see that ceiling being broken at 106.6, pushing on to 108. So going back to ONDS, there we go. So it tried to push today to break the ceiling of that 13-period EMA, couldn't break it, so it came down to, we're like, okay, well, where's the floor? Well, it happened to be at the 5 EMA so far, which is good because we were below it. Now we're on top of it. So even though this thing was wildly north of where it's at right now, this thing was up considerably more than where it ended up closing at. The fact that we closed above the 5 is good, and the post market is trying to get us back up above that $6 per share. And you can also see the pickup in the volumes that we're getting as well. We could be getting back into an accumulation zone here for ONDS. So I would say that these best penny stocks to buy now, man, like they're not always going to hit every day, but when they hit, they're going to hit big. We saw that with NVTS today. We're seeing it with BigBear.ai, RZLV, and ONDS. My goodness. I guess I need to get some water here. Those two, ONDS, RZLV, could have their moment in the sun very, very soon. I'm watchful for these. It could be early in the game, but it could be sometime in the very near future, potentially this week, that we start to see their big pops. If they're going to have them again, I think there's reason to believe that they should stay on the list of the best penny stocks to buy now, and that they could potentially move a lot higher and give us back some of that cash that we saw wiped off the table over time. So as of right now, I don't have any positions in any of those companies. Out of the penny stocks that I mentioned, the long-term position in NVIDIA. However, for any of the penny stocks, I'm waiting for my moment to shine. I tried to catch NVTS today, but it slipped me and I couldn't chase it. BigBear.ai, I didn't choose to play the earnings, too much of a coin flip, but there could be opportunity tomorrow. Guys, I'll let you know over at the Discord. Links down in the description. I teamed up with Stockmo, one of the panel experts over there. There's a whole team of us there to support you in your journey towards financial freedom and building alpha in your portfolio. I believe the 3-day free trial is still active. If you want to check it out risk-free. And I'll tell you what, the ecosystem that you'll find over there waiting for you is absolutely astounding and top-notch. It's there to help you every step of the way through this process. And then also down in the description, find the link for Stockmo Academy, where you'll find technical analysis like you see here, where you can find those critical supports and resistances and trade accordingly. And if you use options, it can make it even easier to play both directions, up or down. There's a course for that as well through Stockmo Academy. Code word doctor is going to save you $400 off each of those courses. And if you bundle the two courses together, you get a bundle discount and a $400 discount when you use code word doctor. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate it. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. You'll see you next video.